Friday night, Winston Cup, Aero 88. We're going down in City. Gonna win in Sin City. And we're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas revamped 2011. Mel Minder Jr. along with my cohort in crime, Greg Bernardo.
What's up, Milty? What's up, everyone? Winston Cup Friday nights back on the air here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and this is our updated version of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Milty. It's called the Las Vegas Motor Speedway Revamped, and first time I think the Winston Cup Series is running this track. It's run in Cup in our Cup Series before, so we'll see how these cars behave on this updated track with the old school car.
Just like I told these boys in the meeting, we don't need anything over the top today. We got a
Very
good race car, we
strange
got a good driver, we got a
circumstances
good
in
pit crew.
qualifying.
All we got to do is just everybody carry their weight. We'll be just fine at the end of this
Had a
thing.
bunch of black flags.
Feel, bud.
Guys are navigating a new pit lane, and NASCAR was not friendly to these guys and really got out of hand there. So, not to take away from our pole sitter, Ken Saska.
No, not at all, Milty, not at all. He followed the rules, Milty. They guys crossed the line, exceeding the pit road limit speed in this particular track. Remember, aftermarket tracks have different rules and regulations, and most of the time that's not an issue. Tonight it was. Ken and the rest of those guys who qualified up front remembered. The rest maybe had some good laps thrown away there.
Having a little trouble finding the on the link here, but broadcast it. There we go. Hey,
Yeah,
never mind.
For it to actually show up live on Twitch TV, and of course, shout out to Twitch TV for providing all of this stuff that we do. And Milty, it's completely free. I haven't spent a penny on Twitch.
Absolutely, and
I logged in,
quality.
I signed up. A little help from Derek Justice over there at Blazing Pedals, and among other leagues. So shout out there to Derek Justice, Blazing Pedals, and man, boom, bing, bang, boom. I'm broadcasting Winston Cup races for FSB Racing.
Yeah, but the main thing is Derek Justice, because like you, like me, we're both pretty computer illiterate as we get ready to go green here.
Yeah, now
Oscar on pole in the Gatorade Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
yeah, I'm sure Ken is maybe a little heartbeat increased here, out sitting on pole here. Sure, he didn't expect the pole when he went out to qualify, Milty, but with that black flag situation, he stole it. But good start so far as he comes down the backstretch. He's in the lead nicely. Sean Reap on the inside with a decent qualifying effort himself. Rick Piscana on the outside of him right there. Yeah, now, oh, and there's a car up against the wall there. It looks like the 21 Milty, Dennis Balsar, scraping up against the wall. Hopefully not too much damage there, and he can continue. Cold tires here at Vegas, you got to be careful. It's a high-speed track, Milty. Foot down in the gas a lot through some of these turns. And we'll go in-car maybe a little later, and we can hear that gas. And there's some contact.
Oh, boy! The Las Vegas native, Sin City Racing.
Mike
Sanders gets into...
Yeah, he's rolling dice back here in the back of the field, Milty, and it almost came up snake eyes for him right there.
Oh, man, that'll make your sticker pecker right there.
Yeah, and shout out, of course, to Sin City boss man Mike Sanders, our host for this week's Winston Cup race. I saw you in the
Party at Mike's.
yeah, I saw you in the hot tub with at least one, maybe possibly two open beers. Was that possible? Did I see 2 open beers in your hand?
Yeah, and because I forgot that I already opened one, and
Yeah.
those cardboard chicks, that I had next to me, that water kind of screwed them up, though.
And there's some racing going on back here. Mike Sanders and
Rick
38
Johnson.
there, Leo Kelly banging fenders right there and rubbing doors. And Rick Johnson way back here, Milty. I wonder if he's having any connection issues there. The car looked a little jumpy right there.
Yeah, he does look a little jiggly. He's got a 31-point lead here, and
yeah, Josh Elliker.
he wants to pad that
tonight, though.
No Josh Elliker.
So that really cements, I think, Rick's standing as the number one guy as we slowly work our way back to the front of this field. And Ken Soska continuing to set the pace here very impressively, Milty, out of the gate. And Jeff Hale and Sean Reap now battling for second. And Ken's just running his race out front there, Milty, and no one's been able to get up there and challenge him yet.
Clean air, so many times he's starting about 10th, which about probably where I would be if I was fortunate, because these guys are good. And but clean air on the nose and track position is huge, and a clear line of sight.
Yeah.
You're always having to kind of back off a little bit when you're following guys. His rise the last couple of years, his very short career, road racing and all the disciplines. He is all in, and also in stock car racing.
Yeah, you said it. But Jeff Hale slowly asserting his will here on him.
Yeah. Remember me?
Yeah.
I'm a super speedway champion.
Just in case you forgot. And that, when you see a big Miller High Life.
That up and under. Can't make it.
Some great NASCAR drivers in history ran those Miller colors.
Oh boy, they're close.
Yeah, and with that little move there, it really brought the front of the field closer together. Jeff's going to try again. Ken's saying, pass me, Jeff, but you're going to have to work it on the outside, babe. And it's hard to pass here on the outside in Vegas, Milty, with that. You see the dark part of that track. You really want to be in that little narrow strip of black right there, Milty. If you get in that gray, you can be skating.
Whoa! Don Reap is just really dogging these guys.
Yeah, it appears to me, too, that maybe Jeff getting a little frustrated here, that he's been trying, feels probably he's the faster car and he's going to have to defend because Sean is nipping at his heels right behind him with Rick Bisconner right on the back bumper of Sean as well.
Yeah, this is not Ken getting lapped. This is Ken leading the race. I'm defending, man. I'm racing to try to win this thing. Get around me.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that, Milty. I hear you on that.
If you make a bobble, then you give it up. You don't want to overdrive. You just want to run your line and run your pace and stay calm. That's the trick to leading. Is definitely led a few races and just got to take a deep breath and hit your marks.
Yeah, and it appears Ken is just really focused on, I'm running the line that I need to run to be successful. He has blinders on for the rest of it. And hey, you're the leader, you run your line. And Sean is just relentless onto the back bumper of Jeff Hale. And so Jeff, I think, just feels a sense of urgency, like he needs to make the move or he might be back to third real quick here. and starting to appear in our screen.
Yeah.
As these guys don't make moves, someone is making moves, and that is the 6th car.
Rocket.
And
5, 4,
just like
3, 2, 1. I'm in first place.
And just like the guy that drove that Wrangler car for real, Milty, this is what happens when leaders can't decide what's going on. He'd decide for you. He would come up and pass everyone and say, "You guys continue to fight amongst second and beyond. I'm going."
Ryan Johnson, winner this year, is right there in the mix in the 59 car.
And this is a great lead battle here that we don't normally see so early in races. Ken continuing to be the leader, Jeff continuing to try to find a way around him.
Man, you get that 29 behind you, it gets your attention. You can't worry about that mirror. You gotta realize he's a clean driver and hit your marks.
Yeah, absolutely, and I believe Ken is taking that advice to heart right here. He's saying, "I'm going to drive my line, Jeff. You've seen it now, lap after lap, babe, and you know where you got to pass me, and that's the outside." And Jeff says
the cars are pushing up a little bit. We're talking about halfway through the run. Sorry to interrupt.
Bring up our scoring here. Lap 16 of 106 laps here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and we're probably looking at what, Milty, a 30 lap window or so.
I would say somewhere around 34.
Okay, and there we see Sean being extra aggressive, Milty.
But I'm wrong every time, so.
And apron is
that
in
is
play
legal.
Here. Boy, and there's some real intense racing here at the front. Now it's a 5-car battle with Mark DeSenza joining, and now Sean side by side. And
great pass there. 29's going to have to back off there.
Yeah, and this is, I think, what Jeff was not wanting to happen and why he wanted to get around Ken. But it was not successful, and now he's going to pay the price. Maybe heated up the tires a little there in his efforts to get by. And now Mark DeSenza pouncing on like a wounded prey here, Milty. It's fresh meat for him, and he pounds to the inside, and the car just is really right on that white line, just like you like to be around these turns. And
well, his teammates tried to help Jeff on the outside.
Position.
Sorry, he tried to help him on the outside, but it still wasn't enough. That freight train down below just took him.
Wow, and that's just some impressive driving there by that 07. And now Sean Reap, I think, is saying, "Okay, Ken, my turn to maybe work you over a little." Ken took a few body blows from Jeff Hale, stayed on his feet. Now he's taking on the next... He's taking on all comers. It's like one of those tough man competitions, Milty. You stay in the ring until someone knocks you out.
Here comes Reap.
And he's using that apron nicely.
Seeing that running hard at the front is starting to...
Ken's really driving for every position here. You got to like that early on. He put the door and closed it right on Mark DeSenza. And now that opened up the door for that inside again, Milty, and it really looks like the inside is the preferred line here. It's much faster amongst the fastest guys.
I'm seeing the 07 starting to get tight now, and he's been right next to the wall, and he's having a hard time keeping that car down. I think he used it up. Yeah, these guys behind here.
And Jeff almost getting into the back of him. Looked like had to lift just a bit there to stay off his back.
Whoa! And the 6 right there had to take evasive too.
And Mike Sanders and Rick Johnson now are coming to the front, as these guys have really used each other up at the front, Milty. And Rick and Mark DeSenza and Mike Sanders might be able to take advantage on the second half of this run.
In this league, that is thing when you're out in front, and it's happened to me so many times because these guys are
Oh, and Jeff
so
Hale
good.
brushes the wall.
He was up there in front, but you run up front like that, it's hard to know how to pace yourself. So you're trying to run a pace you think will not use your stuff up. Well, the other guys are feeding off of you, and okay, we're going to go a little bit slower at the start. And those first couple laps in NASCAR 2003, saving tires are huge. You see the 52 coming now. All these guys have done that, and you see comers and goers. Chris Conner kind of falling back, and he was in the top 5 early.
And here's a little look at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Milty, 1.5 mile oval, cookie cutter, as we affectionately refer to these as. And when we think of 1.5 mile ovals, I immediately I have to think Mike Sanders. It's just like 1.5 mile of Mike Sanders. And of course, look who's coming to the front as this run comes to an end. It's Mike Sanders, who's now in 3rd position. And it's just very odd how certain guys are suited for certain tracks, Milty. And it really plays out, unless your name is like Rick Johnson and you win at every single possible kind of track all the time. But if you're like a normal, everyday driver, there's usually one type of track that maybe you show the best abilities at. And I think 1.5s and Mike Sanders go really well together.
Absolutely, and this is really special because this is a hometown race for him. But he is fighting tooth and nail with Rick Johnson, but that outside line, and he gets right back in there in front of Mark DeCinza.
Yeah, and Rick's car, I think,
these
really
guys are in all good.
Now.
Yep, these guys are all in a good spot. Now you got to start to think about pit stops and executing those under green.
Yeah, I think Ken has really run a great first stint here as we come closing into a green flag stop possibly. He needs to really focus now, Milty, with maybe the car going away from him to try to not give up all that he gained from this whole run.
Well, I mean, if you would have asked him,
and he's really loose, Milty. He's fighting the car hard now.
Can I be P3 or 4 after this? But even top 10, because that thing is now you got to start to think he better be looking at his tires. He could be looking at blowing one out here.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. If you know, you'd love to get to a window that gives you the 3-stop strategy, but you can't ignore what your tires are telling you either. As we see, Jeff Hale is in the pits now, Milty. So some of our first pit stops are being made at
box.
Very early for Jeff Hale. He's going to really have to stretch this thing out if we stay green. I'm sure he's banking on a caution at some point, but that's
Rick Johnson,
slightly early stop there.
On the other hand, you see that tire saving and that veteran awareness of how to just lay back, and then he was in the back with the dogs and in the front with the pretty girl now. His crew chief, by the way, Bonnie.
Yeah, she worked him through the field. It was a little dicey back there early on. Maybe some sheet metal being traded, and Rick stayed cool back there and slowly picked them off one by one. And he finds himself at lap 31, beginning lap 31 as our leader. And I would suspect, Milty, within the next few laps here, we're going to see pit stops from all our leaders.
Absolutely.
Looking back, there's Sean in second, Mike Sanders, solid third now. Ken and Ryan Johnson, 4th and 5th. So Ken is hanging on in P4, Milty. He's doing a great job. Just a couple seconds off the lead.
Here comes Rick Johnson down pit road.
Yeah, and our leaders are in.
Here comes the 59.
So
Here
lap
comes the
32.
6. Here they come.
99 also in. Pops with a good late run there as well, and a shout out to Pops, the Iron Man award, Milty, kidney stone procedure in the day and racing at night. I mean, come on,
he
man.
was talking about
Come
how
on.
they blasted him out.
Yeah, I
How do
don't
you
even
blast
want
him
to. Yeah,
out?
this is trying to be a PG show, Milty. I don't know if we want to talk about blasting kidney stones. That's just doesn't sound right to me.
Oh, it makes me hurt.
Yeah, and here's
Rick
Sean Reed
Johnson off
in.
pit road. 32 times 3 is 106.
That's all you need. Sean Reed coming in lap 33, so he's one to the good. Ken Soska
No,
in
no, it's
as
not.
well.
Excuse me. 96. So they're all off
7 also in.
sequence. Yeah.
Dan Jones, we haven't seen Dan yet in the broadcast. There's Dan as he's making a great move here. He made a great pit stop there, Milty, in and out, and he's right on the back bumper of Ken Soska now. So a great job by Dan there in the pit crew.
You expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to win.
And we see Sean joining the party again. Mike Sanders. Where's Mike Sanders? Is he in the pits finally? Yes, he's in and out. So Mike's our long guy. He went 34, Milty, and I think that is where you need to be.
Absolutely.
So the
34.
The guy who
Get you right there.
The guy who walked over to the race today, as we all had to drive, knows how to get the fuel mileage here as well, and that could pay big dividends come the end of this race, especially, let's say, the end of this next run if we stay green. So we're looking at maybe lap 68 and earlier now, Milty, for the rest of the guys. And as Mike gets back on the track.
Bond is retired. Something happened to the 007. He gone.
Wow, and after such a good pit stop, something must have
been too good.
Oh, and there's contact with Pops and Mike Sanders. And Mike's into the wall, and Pops is spinning. And
Pops got the apron a little bit.
I think this could bring the caution out.
Like Pops just kind of got right down on that
out.
apron.
Caution is out. Lap 36, so we'll see now once the field is frozen as they cross the line here, Milty. This could scramble up everything. Jeff Hale is showing as our leader with that early pit stop, Milty, and this could really pay off for him.
Well, what you going to do? I mean, the rest of these guys really got a pit. Tires and not staying out. Maybe if you're like 10th place or something, you might as well stay out.
I think Mike is definitely going to have to come in for repairs, Milty. Pops looked like he got a push there as he went down into the corner. It looked like the car pushed up into Mike's door and bounced Mike into the outside wall momentarily. And I think Pops, in reaction to that, maybe tried to pull off Mike and spun the car, bringing out the caution. So maybe a slight break for Mike Sanders now. He stays on the lead lap, and he'll be able to get those repairs fixed under caution. And we see Mike into the pits. Mark DeSenza right behind him getting the service done. And I'm sure Mike will allow
just
the crew here to speed out the car.
A little bit of pancake on the right side. Looking back at the replay, it just kind of pancaked a little bit. Hopefully not too long.
Yeah, and you see the crew popped out and the car looks good again. So I think they did a good job. I think he'll be fine. As we see the rest of the guys joining the field, there's Jeff Hale trying to get ahead. T.G. Reese is showing as our leader, Milty. We'll have to see. We're in that sequence. Looks like it's showing 9 cars on the lead lap.
Taking a look back at Dan Jones' pit stop, see if I can see what happened to the 007.
Yeah, he came out of the pits looking good, right on the back bumper of the '07, Ken Soska there, and looked like maybe somehow in that out lap he pulled back over and disconnected. Yeah, and unfortunately tonight with this track as well, Milty, as we said, first time for the Winston Cup. Uh, other
I think
other
he
guys,
sped pit road speed's 45, right?
maybe he got a black flag and he didn't
I
want to
think
deal
he
with it.
was. I'm just looking at it right now. I think he was at like 49.
Yeah, maybe
I think
the
that's
black
it.
flag. He's not really points racing, Milty, so he felt, well, if I have to serve a black flag, I'm out of the race.
Well, we're really recycled and with recycling those Miller High Life cans there, we got Jeff Hale back up in front.
Yeah, and we follow TG in and out.
It's perfect timing for him, you know, with that timely caution.
Yeah, now he'll be able to catch his breath and shake off that early run. I think he was a little frustrated there. Just judging by the way he was trying to make the moves there on Ken, and now maybe he can take a deep breath and say, okay, I'm the leader like I expect, and it's all good now.
On fresh tires, he wants to get by you right away, and he's great on cold tires, really pushing it, getting in front of you, and then backing it up a little bit, and learn to make passes, and then also save tires. So, like a triple threat. Also, our lap down. Tough luck for the Wood Brothers Sitco car for Dennis.
Yeah, I saw Dennis early on, maybe lap 2 or so, Milty, got up high and just, it looked like just brushed along the wall momentarily. But as you know,
He wants to get this back here, so no lucky dog. So he's got a race for it here. Good luck.
yeah, yeah. Of course,
29 is going to get to going.
You can't pass the leader as well before the start-finish line. So you're really at a disadvantage, especially when that guy restarting is Jeff Hale. But he's right up there. Lap 39, going back green.
We're starting to get into a fuel window here, so I think we're right on the edge at 66, which is 33. So if it goes green the whole way.
We see Jeff off to his great start that he's known for, and Mark DeSenza
gotta back it off a little bit.
Dennis in between him and Jeff, so Mark's gonna have to navigate Dennis real quickly before he can resume the fight.
Rick Johnson didn't do well in the pits there with that the timing of his stop, but still back in 8th, and he'll do the same thing. Did the first time, back it down and chill and slowly move, save my tires, expect another long green flag run. If it don't happen, then he'll readjust his mindset and he'll push hard. He's got the ability to turn that switch, which is so hard. All these guys are so good He is tire wear and speed at the right time. They've all got the speed. You see in qualifying how close everything is. That's what separates the first place from 10th place, really.
And we see now a little back in the pack, not too far back. We see third, fourth, and fifth here. Sean Reap in third, Ken Soska back in fourth now, Milty. So now that he's starting without the clean air, we'll see how Ken navigates the rest of this run.
But he's had great finishes this year, and that's from being able to follow and learn about tire wear, following and saving fuel and tires, and
yeah, it looks like.
and he's got great track position.
And he hit the apron there and got out of shape, and almost collects Mark DeSenza as Pops gets around. I was just about to say, boy, Dennis and Pops were really working together well there, getting a good run on Mark, and they both did manage to get around him. But boy, that was a little heart in your throat moment there, I think, for Mark DeSenza. Dennis clipped the apron there, and it looked like the car really got out of shape.
'59 of Ryan Johnson, just staying about where he was before, which is a great spot. Showed that he's getting better and better all the time at long fuel runs, tire wear. So
yeah, and there comes Ken up with that shuffle in front of Mark that kind of brought him back to the third and fourth and fifth place guys, and now Ken back trying to be back to the back bumper of Mark DeSenza. Rick Piscana right behind Ken.
Give us a little in-car here.
Staying right in his tracks.
A little in-car here, you guys are seeing here.
Jump in here to the 43 car with Piscana as he's sitting there in the fourth position, looking back at our up front there at the very first car in line there. That's Jeff Hale, he's our leader. Ken Soska right in front of Rick in that Gatorade car. They're battling for position. Mark DeSenza right in front of them.
Do that slight lift going into turn one and back on it. Gotta back out of it. Breathe the throttle just a hair, no brake. Maybe if you're following somebody really close, you might want to ride the brake just a hair, but pretty much lift and roll.
You see, right toward the end of the straightaways, how that trap really comes into play. You really start getting a run right toward the end as you're getting into the turn. You got to be mindful of that extra speed you're carrying sometimes here.
Oh, and you get that draft, but the thing is you lose grip because the only place to pass is the outside early with everybody with fresh tires. Passing opportunities come better later. That's why you see Rick Johnson chill back for about maybe 5-7 laps, and then he'll start to wear people out.
You can also look at Rick's lap times there. His best lap under 30 seconds, well under 30 seconds. Current laps though will be well over 30 seconds. So you can see that tire wear does play a role here.
Absolutely, almost 2 seconds tire day.
Really not doing much here, it looks like. He's just trying to stay in line, stay in that draft. He's got Ryan behind him helping. He's in touch with the leader, so really, is there any reason to really push the envelope here? He's probably thinking, not really, unless something's presented to me. He's really doing a good job of just saving the car and keeping nice and clean.
Checking your mirrors. Never look in the mirror on the straightaway. Come down the straightaway, hit this apex, glance one more time, then go back in to focus your apex.
We can also
come out the corner right now. You look in the mirror just for a second, back to focus, apex.
Yeah, they've got a really nice run down the straightaway there. They'll be onto the outside, going out of 4 here, and it really stacking up. There's a 21 car, Dennis Balsar, he's a lap down the car. He's been really fighting with these leaders, trying to stay in touch. It looks like the car may be giving up just a bit here. So leaders have to be mindful and drive carefully and avoid the contact there. And a good job there by Rick. Ryan looking to follow him through, and then you can see as in the mirror, Milty, who's getting bigger. It looks like I see a red car all of a sudden getting larger in my rear view.
Yeah, that definitely gets your attention. Rick is having to go offline to try to make these passes, and these lap cars and these guys behind him are benefiting by saving their tires and not making these moves. It's gonna hurt the 43 having to take that tight inside apex.
Yeah, and he's also now thinking of maybe having to defend.
Now he's
Ryan
defending,
Johnson.
yep.
And he did a great job there, keeping that car down on the white line. And now he's got to get back and see if he can catch with these top 3.
Over time, you get used to looking in that mirror and knowing how close they actually are to you. But it gets your attention when all of a sudden you see that windshield and all 4 headlights right in the back of your, taking that whole mirror up. It gets your attention.
Yeah, it sure does. And we also saw there in the mirror Sean Reed getting around Ryan. So that run there, unsuccessful, you see it really set Ryan back so much that now he's in danger of losing a couple positions.
Mark the Sids are starting to exert some testosterone here.
Yeah, remember we went green at lap 39, so we're about 20 laps into this run as they cross the line.
About lap 72, 73, you want to split it in half.
And as we look at our leaders, Milty, we look back and, like you said, the 52 Rick Johnson just really knows how to put a management plan into place right off a green flag. And it's so hard to do. You want to race, you want to get to the front, and you feel that's where you have your best chance. But he knows how good his abilities are, that all he has to do is maintain his equipment, and he'll be right there. And you can just see it. As these guys fight each other for everything, he is just slowly gliding right up to this lead pack.
Well, as Mike Tyson said, man, we're in Vegas. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Oh,
Jeff.
Jeff Hale suddenly pitting. What the heck is going on there?
Woo. Let's hope that
this is way early.
Yeah. He pitted at lap 29 before Milty, so he's kind of on his own schedule. But like you said,
off.
Not compatible with the race distance, though. And I'm sure he could have went at least a couple more laps, you would think, but maybe not. He's He's won championships and races far beyond me. I'm certainly not one to second guess Jeff Hale, Milty. So,
Well, that's how he got that track position, so his bed was kind of late, you know.
we'll go back out onto the track to the leaders, and that leaves Mark DeCenza in the lead, I believe, for the first time of the race. So Mark DeCenza, our leader, Rick Johnson up to second.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
Sean Reed back to third. Rick fourth. Ken Soska fifth. Mike Sanders sixth. So everyone on the lead lap, Milty, is just 2 seconds apart here. So a tight grouping of the cars through this whole run so far.
Well, thanks, kudos to Sean Reed for me even being here.
Mark
the
DeCenza
six is
into the
in.
pits.
Wow!
And it's swirly there, and we saw
Woo! Sliding in sideways, baby.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that deserves another quick look here. Left, right, left again. Lock it down. Black marks going right across
This
the line.
guy is unbelievable. Question is, did he get by the line on under the speed? But hard on the brakes like that, you can challenge these braking zones.
Yeah, he's in and out, so we'll know very shortly.
Watching his pit speed, 50, 44, 45. He's a master of keeping it right there.
Yeah, and
he knows that cone. That was beautiful.
So Mark rejoins.
But that entry, I have to see here.
Yeah, let's. Now, as you said, Milty, we were expecting these guys around 72 or so.
Yeah,
so we're only on lap 66, so I would expect Rick Johnson and Sean Reed here, our current leaders in first and second. They're going to do what they need to do, and that's probably right around, like you said, around 72. Mike Sanders now inherits third position.
Make 72, you can make it to the end.
And there's Ryan in fifth, and Ryan only 3 seconds off the pace. So the leaders still are all within touch of each other.
Well, what I was talking about there, Sean Reap helped me get this track loaded. I was shared folder. It was difficult for my non-navigating self. So
yeah, and unfortunately, I think that bug bit a couple other guys who were trying to race tonight. So apologies.
I'm a tile setter, not a doctor.
Yeah, I like I said before to you, I was fortunate to already have this track loaded up because it was a previous track in other series. So I lucked out there with our good old departed pal Mike Baker's great management system that we used to use, Milty, and that thing bing bang boom, tracks on there, ready to go, paint, done.
Absolutely. We miss Mike Baker.
Yeah, we do. I think about Mike all the time when I'm looking at these guys' paint jobs and thinking, man, how much I struggled before with broadcasts and trying to get every guy's paint because I didn't know how to download everyone's and this and that and extract and all that stuff, which I know nothing about. And then Mike said, oh, we got this new thing, just hit download. I said, I could do that.
Press one button.
Yeah. And of course, shout out to Chris. Hopefully everything's going well for him, and maybe he can come back sometime and say hi. But we're all
Mike's son, Chris Baker, one of the top 5 greatest GT drivers I've.
Yeah, the kid's a net. I mean,
probably 1 or 2, I would say.
He was a
Maybe
natural
Damien
as
Godzilla.
much as anyone I've ever seen, and
His dad
yeah,
was so proud of him. Yeah, definitely.
and yeah, and right up to the time he passed away, Milty, Mike's abilities were growing in leaps and bounds in that series. Oh, and Mike Sanders loses it coming into the pits. Uh, and he's backwards. I don't know if he's going to get a penalty here. Got to be careful now with Ryan coming in. Got to make sure he sees him.
Guys are 52 is pitting.
Wow, so
What's
Mike really pushing the envelope there, Milty, and maybe just a little too much. Spun the car. I do not know if he'll get black flagged there or not.
your leader is pitting?
Sean Reap in.
And Saska out a second.
Ryan
Great
Johnson
run
in.
for Ken. Come on, Ken. He's being real conservative. That's what I would do too. Is like, don't blow this. Going down pit road.
Absolutely, Milty. You're running such a great race on the track. To give it away at a
Out
45
of
mile an hour
P2?
clip is really just a loss, a loss of focus that happens to me probably 3 times a lap. But
Or 4 tires for the 52 red box Ford. Oh, don't sell yourself.
Ken
You're a hell of a
pits there,
slouch,
Milty.
Greg. Don't sell yourself short.
And as we were saying that, Ken slightly overshot his pits and had to back up. And that's going to cost him dearly in time here with the green flag stops going on.
Rick Johnson, like the machine.
Yeah, Rick in and out.
Welcome to the machine.
Now we'll see where Rick blends in. Remember, Jeff Hale pitting very early, I think lap 60. Now we're on lap 74, so Jeff Hale already 15 laps into a run when Rick Johnson coming back out onto the track. So really different agendas here.
And look at that, lap 74 completed. He is on schedule. This thing stays green. Good night, Irene.
Yeah, and this does have a green feel to it now, as these guys really, I think, are getting comfortable with the track. And
Rick Johnson clutching. He's saving fuel. He's worried about it.
So Rick is
so that's telling you something.
And there's Sean Reap just ahead of him, but you can see Sean really pedaling the car now too. I think he's in the Rick Johnson School of Race Management.
Wow.
Right now, Milty, and he sees Rick and says, you know what, if I just hang around Rick all race, I'll probably be in either second or first, depending on if I'm ahead of him or right behind him. So that's a good, thing to do.
Reap letting him by. He wants to try to save fuel and follow the master at clutching, and Rick Johnson is shutting that car off and into the corners.
That's
even if he's close. Yeah, you just pull that out of your yin yang, you know. I mean, wow.
And up to 4th, Milty, having a great run tonight. He was our leader from really stretching the issue before, and that's TG in the 53 car. TG, I think he might have an extra. Check his fuel tank there, Milty. He might have an extra gallon or 2 in that tank.
Well, as we saw in the Pony Express Super Speedway broadcast, cars running out of fuel all over the place to the last lap. It could come down to that again here.
Yeah, it certainly could. And, you know, as TG's riding by himself, Milty, how's that affect fuel mileage when you're all by yourself compared to, let's say, you know, in a 3 or 4 car draft like Rick and Mark and Jeff are?
Oh, that's huge. Could be a lap or 2.
Yeah, and I think TG's
when you see the leaders,
and he's going to have to make some hard decisions. He's kind of in no man's land. 10 seconds ahead of Rick, but 4.5 seconds behind these 3 leaders.
The 29 needs a caution like you would not believe. This whole group does.
Yeah, and they've
teammates, first and third. Ironically, the Highline teammates are second and fifth here on two different strategies, but that's how they like to roll a lot.
Yeah, I mean, man, what high level meetings take place when Mark DeSenza and Rick Johnson talk about
my
racing?
gosh.
I can't even be in the room with that. I'm not allowed in that room.
Rick Johnson has a book. I was his teammate, so I'm privy to information. And
yeah,
he knew his
spilling secrets.
Well, nothing, no secrets, you know. Kick my butt, but
he's got a pretty tough crew chief that guards those secrets too. I think. So
absolutely, Bonnie will not like that, but it's all on paper for him. So as soon as he comes to a track, it's like, okay, this is what I've done before, and this is my best strategy. This is my steering ratio I ran last time. I mean, this guy is seriously prepared, as are all these guys. But you know, we're teammates with a lot of these guys, but I was teammates with this guy, and it was like, no, Melt, that's your steering day, 18-1, and save your tires these first few laps, get behind me, and then we'll go. And back when I was racing Pro Cup and we were teammates, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think any strategy that says I'm going to get behind Rick Johnson and follow him for the whole race is a good strategy. And these top three, though, are very cooperative right here, Milty. Jeff Hale, Mark DeSenza, Rick Pisciner, they seem to be on the same page right now.
They understand that fuel is a problem here.
Maybe trying to save and stretch now. Lap 83 of 106, so we're getting down to about
33.
Yeah.
Going at it, you know. I mean, so I'm a little mystified as I think they're going to start to go now. Now I'm not hearing no clutching, but as that happens, lap cars get by, and Rick puts a little bit of block there on Sean Reap. No, okay, my blinker's on. I'm turning left here.
And Jeff Hale looks like he's coming in, and this will be Jeff Hale's final stop. Rick Pisciner coming in with him. So
he needed a caution.
Move. The teammates are doing it.
They have to.
They built up about a 20-second lead over the rest of that pack, Milty, but certainly that's not going to be enough. As Mike Sanders
they needed to go green again and get back in the lead, and then the caution come out before the end. Then they'll be back in the driver's seat. So their race ain't
21
over
to
yet.
Go.
Rick Johnson still cutting that car off coming into the corners, and Sean Reap right behind him doing the same thing.
Yeah, good strategy employed by those two. I think Sean saw early on, you know what, Rick's clutching. There's a reason why Rick's clutching. It's because if we don't, we might not make it. So I think he immediately did the same thing. And Mike Sanders, Ken Soska are ahead of him. I don't know if they've been doing any conservation, but right now, that remains to be seen.
I'm going to step away for a minute. I'll be right back.
Mark DeSenza continues to try to stretch and stretch and stretch this lead in hopes of maybe not doing a full stop and still being competitive. I don't know if he can get far enough away from these guys. Ryan there nipping at his heels. Mark letting him go. He doesn't want to fight him here. He's trying to push that 17.8 second lead into into 20 seconds and beyond. So maybe he's thinking, I'm going to run this thing until it's sputtering, get in, no tires, fill it up with some fuel to get to the end and see if I can steal a race here. I don't know if he can do it, though. We'll check it at the line here. 17 laps to go for Mark DeSenza, 17-second lead. He's going to have to stop, though, at some point here. It's down to now 15.9 seconds, so he is either slowing down to conserve, or those guys are picking up the pace, or a combination of both. But Mark crossing the line now with 15 laps remaining in this race.
Well, he's going to have to pit. Then we'll see what's up here.
I'm sure he's hoping maybe for that caution to come out, but I
Of course he is.
think that's going to happen. And if it doesn't, can he drive this car far enough into the numbers that he doesn't have to do anything but maybe just to take a splash? And can he get back in competitively? It's only a 15-second lead, and I just don't see that happening with that kind of lead.
What I see is Rick Johnson still clutching, so
And
he wants ultimate power at the end here, and when he can make his move.
yeah, so what we're seeing is Mike Sanders, Ken Soska eating into the Mark DeSenza lead, but Rick and Sean kind of laying back still.
They know
still not
Mark has
pushing
to
the issue.
pit, so they're not worried about him. Unless the caution comes out.
And I think Sean might be off the pace now. He's really fallen back 7 seconds behind Rick. As Mark DeSenza
These guys
lap
aren't
93,
clutching like
starting lap 94.
they're not clutching like Rick. Because it's hard to do. There's some tracks I've been able to clutch at with some practice, but these guys are, they're lifting, trying to slow it down, but Rick Johnson is purposely saving that fuel, so.
There's Mike Sanders in second, Ken Soska in third. They're about 12, little over 12 seconds behind Mark DeSenza, but they've really eaten into that lead. They were about 15, 16 seconds back. Now they're, as they cross the line, just 11.2 seconds back from Mike Sanders. So about a second a lap they're taking off of there. And there's Rick Johnson, who's continuing to clutch into the corners with 12 laps to go here, Milty. When does Rick turn up the wick here?
I think he thinks that these top three there's no way they're going to make it, and he crunches the numbers. So confident. I think he's real confident they're not going to make it, and he's worried about whether because he knows
like Mark DeSenza has come in to the pits, trying to find Mark. There he is. He's in the pits. Let's see where he comes out. He did get tires as well, so. Mark fought the good fight, Milty, but being off sequence like that looks like sealed his fate.
These other two need to stay the course and hope they get a caution and have that track position. I think by now they probably realize they're not going to make it.
Let's go back to the 191 and 07. Mike Sanders, Ken Soska, our leaders inside of 10. Mark DeSenza rejoining the race here and pushes Ken really up the track. Wow.
That was bad timing for the 07, but you got to realize he's got
Mark
fresh
DeSenza
tires.
Fresh tires here has really pressed open
great job
a
by
little lead
Ken there. Just bad luck. It's good racing. Bad luck.
Of course, Mark trying to get back onto the lead lap should anything happen. he'll be able to pounce because there's only 7 cars on the lead lap. Mark would make it 8. And as he tries to go around Mike Sanders, our leader, maybe that will help Ken pick up some of that ground he lost.
Oh, he's chomping at the bit here, and he's going to make this pass easy, and that's going to even it back up for these two. But they've used so much energy here with this, with the 52 clutch and the fuel is close.
Yeah, and Rick, you can see now, has really turned up the wick, Milty. He was, 16, 17 seconds. Now he's 8 seconds in just a few laps, but we are only having a few laps left in this race here. Mike Sanders, our leader, Ken Soska second, Rick Johnson now into third. Question is now, do these guys have enough fuel, Mike and Ken?
No way. Jose.
And you have to think that their bed is now made as well. So they're either going to run out or they're going to finish first and second.
Yeah, only because Rick was clutching. I thought they could make 33, but they pitted earlier than Rick did, so...
Yeah, we'll stay with our leaders here as we get in... we're at, 5 to go, Milty.
God,
To go.
man, I'd love to see these guys pull it off.
It's a hometown boy, Mike Sanders.
Pit further than 191. He's got a pit.
He can't do it anymore. He
Can't do it.
with just a 9-second lead over Rick Johnson, that's going to go away.
Oscar's going to probably go one more. He's going to have to stop.
I think Ken's going to run this car until it's got nothing left, man. You're inside of 4 laps now. And Ken looks like he's out of gas, Milty. Or he's clutching. It looks like Ken's clutching a little here. He's trying everything. I think he's trying to stay out, Milty.
Well, I mean, clutching, you can't pull that out of a bag. You got to work on that, in my experience.
Well, we'll stay with him. He's going around again. This will start lap 100.
He's worked on everything else.
Where is Rick? He's 8.7
Here comes
last lap.
8.7.
7.2. So he's shaved off a second and a half. If that
Yeah,
keeps
he's
up,
backed it way down. 33.6 last lap for Soska.
Yeah,
Clutching, he is clutching it. He's clutching it big time.
you gotta like
Why
the
not?
effort
You
here.
gotta go for it, man.
Gotta love the effort here. 3 to go,
Yeah,
Milty.
man.
Does he have enough?
The admin looking for his first Winston Cup TV race win. Can he make it?
I think this might. I think
Rick Johnson
he's
getting
already won it.
3 seconds. Rick got last lap.
We'll jump into the cockpit with Ken to listen to that motor, Milty. You know what a sick motor sounds like when it's not getting any fuel, so keep an ear out and tell us what you hear.
I hear air, and then he's picking up the throttle. About half throttle, and then full throttle. Clutch. Look at those RPMs down to nothing.
See Mike Sanders, who was a lap down, he'll get his lap back, but that's really not what's important right now. What's important is that
Last
we're
lap.
on lap 106 of 106.
This is
Ken
the
is
winning
still in
lap
the lead,
right
but
here.
2 seconds only for Rick Johnson, Milty.
2 seconds. Can he beat the master?
At his own game.
Did Rick Johnson overthink that, or what happens? This
Here
Ken
comes
Soska coming
Rick.
to the
Here
line.
comes Ken. And Ken has stole
Yeah.
this race. Rick Johnson
Woo!
second.
And he's out of gas. He's out of gas. He's out of gas. That motor's silent.
Wow.
That's how close it was,
Wow,
folks.
what a That's a win for the ages right there, Milty.
No
Beating
burnouts.
beating the best driver with fuel mileage and tire management by 0.36 seconds at the line, and then running out as you cross it.
Hey, man, that was awesome.
Wow. Jeff Hale comes all the way
Rick's
back
plan was to
for that
save a
final
little
podium
bit,
position too, while we were in awe
focusing
there of
on
that
that.
move. Jeff did a great job, came back finishing third, Rick fourth, Sean Reap fifth, TG with a great run in sixth, and Mike Sanders just could not keep the same pace that Ken Soska did. He had a pit, fell back to seventh, but a great run by the hometown kid, Mike Sanders.
And Ken Soska laying behind the 191, still coasting to his stall. No Polish victory lap for the Polish American Ken Soska.
No, but I'm sure there'll be some cold Budweisers that you'll donate for his victory lane celebration, Milty.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to have him a few drinks and a couple trips to the patio.
Oh yeah, and there's our final run in order. Ken Soska pulls off the nice upset over Rick Johnson. Jeff Hale third, Rick Bisconner fourth, Sean Reap fifth. And then rounding out our top 10 there, Ryan Johnson, Mark DeSenza, and Pops, again, Ironman Award. Pops finishes the race on his wheels. Shout out there to
Awesome.
the Iron Gut. Iron Gut, we'll call him.
Get him getting blasted
And then finishing
oh,
top 10.
top 10.
All
Mighty impressive.
All in a day's work, Milty. All in a day's work. So why don't you go and gather up our podium finishers, and we'll get on with this. Great race. Just one caution. So a very good pace. You see the winning speed, 157. Very good, high rate of speed for the race. So great job by all there avoiding carnage. We just saw the one mishap with Pops and Mike Sanders, and that was it. And looks like we're slowly gathering up our podium finishers. And looks like our first and second guys have arrived in the booth with us. So let's start with the man of the hour. It's our admin of the series. But I think he learned something from that 52 car on how to save up a little of that precious fuel to the end. And you did it, Ken. And obviously, even if the track was 1.6 miles, I think you would have lost. But it's 1.5, and you won by about
Absolutely.
3/10 of a second there. Great job, man. Great management, and just a great drive from start to finish there. Good job, bud.
Oh, man. Thanks, guys. You got that absolutely right, Greg. I ran out coming right across the line. I was clutching for probably the last, 7 or 8 laps. And Mike Sanders and I pitted last of everybody. I think we went a lap longer than everyone on that last stop. So I figured he was going to make it all the way too, and I was figuring out how I was going to save fuel and get around him. But then I saw him pit, and wow, all of a sudden I realized all I had to do was make it to the end on gas, so I started clutching. And I saw Rick Johnson coming in a hurry like he always does, and just made it, man, just made it. Whew. Let me pry my fingers off the steering wheel here.
0.36 made it.
And
0.36.
I hear you on that. And Rick, and obviously you knew exactly what you were doing. You knew you needed to save a little fuel for that last run. I'm sure you felt it was going to be a green run with a shorter field, and a few guys did drop out, so it spread it out even more. But if you think if you would have just got on the gas a half lap early, you would have been the one taking the checkers?
Yeah, that was my plan. Kind of save fuel, and I feel like I got kind of snookered there because I didn't think Cam was going to make it. I didn't really realize he was going to stay out till F2 to go, so I just floored it F2 to go to try to catch him and just didn't have enough time. If I'd have realized F3 to go, I might have caught him.
Yeah, I kept
Absolutely.
saying in the broadcast, he's got enough. When is he gonna go? You know. But
Yep.
like you, I was like thinking they can't make it because they didn't clutch till you clutched the whole run, and he didn't clutch till about 7 go. You know.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to pit. He just never did.
Yeah, that's a great job there. And Jeff, kind of an up and down race there for you, Jeff. Very kind of different than what these two guys did. But what I need to know, man, is that the start of that race there, you were in Ken's back seat about 7, 8 straight laps, and just could never find a way around him there. Be honest here. It's just me and you, man. Just me and you. Looked maybe a little frustrating there trying to get around him.
Well, I was trying to cool off the tires a little bit because I made a hard run there. Excuse me, I've been under the weather here, sitting here sweating, but bad head cold and got a fever running, so it's been kind of a rough week. But yeah, good win for Ken. I wanted to, since I'm not running for points this year, been trying to do some different things. So went with the strategy of short pitting. Never know what it's going to turn out like until once the race starts and how it goes, and kind of make your strategy from there. But all in all, a good run. I'll take third. We had a fast car all night. Good stops. Good on the restarts. And can't ask for anything better.
Yeah, it was a great run all the way back to third there at the
Absolutely.
end. Obviously, I'm sure you would have liked to seen a caution at strategic times of that race, but man, it was just a clean race there, and with a little smaller field than we're used to seeing, that really led to the green flag runs that we saw, and pit stops were really at a premium there.
Yeah, we had that caution with I think it was like 68, 67 to go. I thought about coming in to top off and trying to do the fuel strategy thing. I knew some guys would, but said, heck, when I'm going to do something different. But yeah, congrats to Ken, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here and get some more beds and crawl into bed.
Yeah,
All right,
I hear you
Jeff.
there, Jeff. Thanks for
Take it easy.
joining us. Feel better there, bud.
Yeah, feel
Thanks,
better,
Jeff. Feel
brother.
better.
All right, guys. Well, another one in the books here, Milty. As this season comes down now, Rick. Obviously, Josh missing the race tonight really had some points implications. He was the only one really within shouting distance of you, and now obviously that's gone away. So maybe just if there was any weight on the shoulders, maybe that's been lifted for you now, and you can feel maybe a little easier heading into these final races.
Yeah, it's a little bit of disappointing that he doesn't show up, but a little bit of weight lifted off my shoulders too. But I was looking forward to the last couple of races here battling with Josh. So,
Yeah,
that's what this is all about,
Yeah,
having fun.
Yeah.
So it's kind of disappointing he didn't show up. I thought about not showing up too, but then that wouldn't be fair to me because I like racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, things happen. Obviously, Josh has had just a tremendous season, and shout out to him if he's out there listening or couldn't join us. But yeah, that obviously does, for better or worse, does change the points outlook going into these final races. But still, Milty, I think third and fourth were even in points, so there's still a lot to be had in these final races.
Absolutely. So the 4 more to go. So
Absolutely. And
we'll try to hit those babies.
And right before we go off the air here, we're joined by FSB lead man in charge, has joined us in the booth. Sam Young is here. If he caught any of that race, he saw a great strategic win by the admin of his series. So one of his own guys must make it feel good there, Sammy.
I've got to watch this whole broadcast, but I'm going to tell you right now, Ken Saska, you're amazing, man. That was a great job. I mean, Rick Johnson was coming, but clutching at this track is super hard. Great job, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing
Thanks,
it as
Sam.
always. You guys are awesome.
All right, Milty. Well, another one in the books, and we'll look forward to these last few races in the season, and we'll keep plowing along and uh, be bringing you some great racing like we saw tonight, some strategy, some really intense racing at the beginning amongst the leaders, uh, green flag stops. You name it, it happened tonight, Milty, and just another great example of FSB racing.
Absolutely. Congrats to Ken, and this is a race that he'll remember for the rest of his life.
No doubt.
It's just one of those races where do everything right against the best, and that doesn't happen very often, And when you can beat them, it's
You got that
in your
right,
bank.
man. Yeah, that's 2 Winston Cup wins, both on fuel mileage, and you know what? I'll take them any day of the week.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for the
Absolutely.
broadcast, guys, too, and Sam, thanks for all you do to make it possible, this whole league. Thanks, man.
No, thank you, guys. No, thanks.
All right, so another one in the books, and we'll catch you on our next broadcast. Remember, Winston Cup Friday nights here at FSBRacing.com. And also, don't forget, big broadcast earlier in the week with Pony Express broadcast doing the double header. So look for him
Yeah,
on.
I made
on,
the first header, not the second one.
Yeah, well, you're like a star pitcher. You can't pitch both games, Milty. So we'll give you a pass on that one. But yeah, check out Pony Express on YouTube, Facebook. He's got a bunch of stuff going on, and yeah, great job by those guys. And Mark does a tremendous work there. So yeah, check that out. And lots still going on. We got the Indy 500 coming up, Milty, at the beginning of June. Yeah, a little IndyCar mod action. And one last thing, I guess, before we leave here, Milty, maybe you can just briefly touch on it. Uh, Upcoming for next season. Maybe you can fill us in on what's going on Sunday mornings next season.
Well, it's going to be Trans Am. Trans Am cars, Trans Am mod, which will be much easier to access than with GT. We hate to see GT go, but we need more car counts, and we're hoping guys will come out and run these excellent tracks that we're going to have lined up, and get some road racing here Sunday mornings.
I hear you. So yeah, FSB changing from the GTP mod over to the Trans Am mod. Some great. I saw Jim's post there in the forum earlier on the last time that the Trans Ams ran, and brought back some good memories of running the Trans Ams, and also those IROCs made me think back to those good old days, Milty. Seeing 15, 20 car fields and who's who of FSB in them, and just knowing that you could run your best race and not even finish in the top 10.
Yeah, my girl Sally, my race car, and 5 championships. Definitely missed that too.
You're gonna have to take that down off the pedestal that it's been on for a little while, dusted
There's a
out.
lot of dust on it.
But yeah, that's going on for next season at FSB. Always stuff going on here at FSB Racing. Check out the website, sign up. It's the only way to get in.
We've also scheduled, Greg, some great off-season events. We've got the FSB Shootout, the Pro Cup Shootout, and Demolition Derby, King of the Hill, a bunch of super speedway races, all scheduled for off-season. So we're going to keep them busy, and most of the events for next season are scheduled up for the fall season. But thanks again for what you guys do. You guys are awesome, man.
Yeah, no problem, Sam. Absolutely, pleasure to do it. And so yeah, we'll call it a night. And thanks everyone for listening and watching. Great race again. Congrats to Ken on a great win, and also to Rick, and shout out to Jeff there, feeling better for the podium finishes, and we'll catch you on the next race, Milty.
No.
Thanks, guys.
Later, guys.
Thanks, guys. Rick Johnson, got a quick minute?